Hello everyone, welcome to another video. As BT8 is right on the horizon, today we're going to cover the top 5 decks in the BT8 format to help you get the competitive edge you need to start winning some tournaments. Let's begin. For the first deck we're covering today, let's go over Imperial German. This is the big name in the room. It is incredibly strong. It quickly does a lot of damage with jamming, which means its creatures usually don't die to the security, and follows it up with a big wide board expansion. It also has a lot of really strong options that let it gain more memories, such as the new Davis Ken Tamer, the always good Hammer Spark, good removal options such as Mega Death. The deck really is just a really well-balanced deck that also can just turn on the gas and take out games really quickly, while also having a really solid mid-game plan using its Imperial German Dragon mode, Fighter mode, and sometimes even Paladin mode top end. This is definitely a deck to look out for going into the BT8 format, and probably the number 1 deck. The second deck I want to talk about is Mastermind. Mastermind is on the other end of the spectrum. It doesn't really have a strong start to the game. Most of its games are pretty slow to start. They give their opponent lots of memory, but don't be fooled. This deck's late game is bar none incredible. Using Mastermind's fusion condition, you could summon multiple bodies to the board, remove multiple threats, even using Lucamine Chaos mode to remove some level 6s, as well as some of their opponent's tamers, and really establish a strong board lock that opens up the game. On top of that, this deck has multiple security bombs that can wipe out opponent's board and punish people for trying to get aggressive on you. On top of Zord Defeat just being an excellent card as a security bomb, but also as a way to evolve over our Mastermind. We also could use Ophanimon Fall Down mode as a side mega, as we were able to use the double colored actions of Ophanimon to kill level 4s, recover, and revive our really powerful level 4 Gatomon, the best card, best starter in our entire deck. This deck has a lot of options. It just takes a little bit to get off the ground, but once it does, it almost clearly secures almost any matchup it's in. For our third deck, it's kind of a slew of multiple decks put into one category. We're going to call this Healing Control. This is either full-on security control or yellow hybrid. Both of these kinds of strategies work in a similar fashion, so I've clumped them together. Essentially, you heal and gain advantage when your opponent tries to swing into you, or just get punished by the fact that you have so much security to push through. These decks are really strong late-game tools that slowly build advantage, use the healing mechanic of Digimon to its maximum capacity by putting security bombs, tamers, other kinds of threats such as Zord Defeat. It just slowly masses advantage and eventually closes out games and puts themselves in unlosable positions. Now, there's multiple different directions to take the deck. The yellow hybrid has 2 that are pretty strong, more of a security control variant using more removal options, and a Rapidmon variant that has much better board wipes and mid-game pressure. I would say the yellow hybrid versions are generally better than the security control versions, but don't slouch. Security control versions also have just so much removal options that they are pretty fair and strong against Imperial German, which is probably the best deck, which gives it a slight edge for yellow hybrid in that capacity. Either way you take it, all these decks, all healing control decks, are definitely a threat you need to be looking out for. For our fourth deck, we're going to go over the premier 1-stack deck for BT8. That is X-Antibody. X-Antibody is a strategy that tries to build a crazy big stack that gains multiple inheritables, multiple advantage engines, all into one consolidated strong Digimon. They can do this through their new Tamer, which is incredible Yuji, which allows them to keep stacking sources and gain additional memory and cards when they move from raising area to battle area. On top of just getting every inheritable you can want. They have Blocker, Reboot, Security Attack +1, gain memory when putting more in their stack, draw cards when getting more in their stacks. This deck really just builds a stack that does everything. Its biggest issue is having their big body get removed, but some of them have their own inherent protection, like Orumon, or you could carry over from the effects of something like Doru Greymon. And in clutch situations where you're worried about something like Wyvern's Breath or Mega Death, you could use Breath of the Gods to continue protecting your stack as it continually boosts your advantage. This is definitely a scary deck, has some good OTK potential with its multi-swings and its security plus, and is really a contender going into this format. The final deck I want to talk about might surprise you. While there's a lot of different contenders we can put into this last slot, such as new decks such as Armor Rush or Black or Greymon, or even some old classics like Beelstar with some improved matchups, Blue Hybrid, Red Hybrid. But I'm going to kind of go on a limb and say the 5th best deck of this format is actually Gabu Bond. Now, what new cards did Gabu Bond get? Not any. It is functionally the same deck it was last format. So why would I put it 5th best deck of this format, even though it wasn't even a top 5 threat in last format? Well, Gabu Bond's already been able to use the Blue Hybrid package to some extent, which is a very, very strong engine. But on top of that, it just gets better matchups. Where the traditional Blue Hybrid can try to stun out units and prevent your opponent from attacking with them and playing with them, Fusion mechanics don't really care about that, and the big stacks of X-Antibody don't care about that as their stacks get too big. Yellow Hybrid and Security Control don't care since they mostly are just trying to grind you out and Fusion away the game over. This deck gets the increased potential to also blow up your opponent's security, getting them that burst damage finish that helps them compete in this format. But also, Gabu Bond's effect is very effective at dealing with a lot of threats in this format. If your opponent makes the mistake of making a full Imperial play and having a suspended Imperial German, Gabu Bond alone wipes the entire board, on top of doing 2 to 3 damage. It also can deal with a lot of the mid-range level 5 and lower threats that are present in this format, such as the Mastermind cards before they go into Fusion, such as the Imperial German once again, such as Yellow Hybrid cards, as most don't play a lot of level 6s. Just the increased burst potential in this deck is really good against the current format. Like I said, it didn't get anything new, it's just the matchups favor it more than Blue Hybrid. Anyway, those are my top 5 decks for the BT8 format. I might come out with a full tier list in the future, but we'll see. I hope you found the video informative and helpful, and have a wonderful day.